He says something designed to hurt you. Your body tenses, your heart rate goes up. You can feel the anger rising. And in that moment, you have a choice. You don't know it's a choice yet, but it is. You can respond the way you always have, or you can do something that will fundamentally change this dynamic. And it's not what you think. So stay with me. I'm going to unpack it all. You know what bait looks like. He makes a comment that's designed to get under your skin. Maybe it's a dig at you disguised as a concern. Maybe it's a lie he's casually telling, and you know he's lying. Your nervous system recognizes it as an attack, and your instinct is respond. Defend yourself, correct him, call him out on the lie, make him understand that what he said is unfair. It feels like the right thing to do. It feels like standing up for yourself. And it's a trap. And I'm going to show you why. And more importantly, I'm going to show you what happens when you don't take the bait. First, let me be clear. He's doing this to you on purpose. Not consciously necessarily, but his nervous system has learned if I provoke her, she'll engage. And when she engages, I win the battle. Because when you take the bait, what happens? You're now in a conversation that's on his terms. You're responding to his provocation. You're defending, you're explaining. And he's no longer being questioned. You are. So he made a lie or a dig or a criticism, but instead of you calling that out and walking away, you've pulled him into a discussion about whether the lie is true, whether the dig was fair, or whether the criticism is valid. He's pulled you into his framework. And in his framework, he always has better answers because he doesn't care about the truth. He cares about winning. So when you take the bait, you've already lost. But that's not why you take it. You take the bait because your nervous system is designed to respond to threats. When he says something hurtful or provocative, your brain registers it as a threat to your safety, your reputation, your validity, your worth. And your nervous system says, you have to defend yourself right now or you'll be destroyed. So you respond, you defend, you explain. You're not choosing to take the bait logically. I want you to know that. You're responding to a survival instinct. This is important because it means you're not weak or stupid for engaging. Your nervous system is doing exactly what it's been trained to do. Respond to attacks with counterattacks. Defend against criticism with explanation. Correct lies with truth. Stand up for yourself by fighting back. These are all reasonable instincts in healthy relationships. In a healthy relationship, when someone says something hurtful, you can respond honestly and with directness, and they'll take it in, they'll reflect, and they'll say, oh, geez, you know what, I was out of line there, I'm sorry. They'll change, they'll adjust, they'll course correct. But this isn't a healthy relationship. You know that. So the rules are different. And your nervous system, unfortunately, is still playing by the old rules for a basically healthy relationship, which means you're still responding like you're in a fair fight, but you're not in a fair fight. You're in a dynamic where the person has trained themselves to be emotionally ruthless, and your nervous system is designed to be fair and honest. That's a mismatch. And every time you take the bait thinking you're in a fair fight, you lose. So here's what actually happens when you take the bait. I'm going to break it down linearly. So step one, he provokes. Okay, he makes a comment, a lie, a dig, a criticism, and make no mistake, it's designed to trigger you. Step two, your nervous system responds. Your body activates, your heart rate goes up, you feel anger, defensiveness, hurt, indignation. And step three, you engage. You respond, you defend, you explain, you correct, you argue. But watch this. Step 4, he escalates. Because now you're engaged. He knows the bait worked. He's got you hooked, and so he doubles down. He makes the lie bigger. He makes the dig sharper. He adds more criticism. Or he pivots. Instead of defending his original point, he attacks you for attacking him. Step 5, now you are fully immersed in the trap. You're no longer responding to the original provocation. Can anybody remember the original provocation? Now you're defending yourself against his counterattack. The conversation has completely shifted. It's no longer about the truth of what he said. It's about whether you're being fair, whether you're being reasonable, whether you're being kind, and you're on the defense. So step 6, finally, the conversation ends, but the damage is done. Either he walks away leaving you frustrated and confused, or you apologize even though you didn't do anything wrong, or you shut down and go numb. But either way, you've been pulled into his world and you've lost. And here's the sad thing. This cycle repeats because the next time he provokes, your nervous system has already been programmed. It remembers, last time I fought back and it didn't work, but I didn't know what else to do. So you try again, maybe a little bit differently. Maybe you use better words or you try and pick a better time, but you're still taking the bait. You're still responding to the provocation. You're still thinking, if I can just explain this the right way, surely he'll understand. No, he won't, because understanding isn't what this is about for him. This is about him provoking you and you engaging and him winning the engagement. The content of the conversation is irrelevant. The only thing that matters to him is, did he successfully pull you in? Did he successfully, plant the hook? And every time you engage, the answer is yes. Now, here's what I want you to understand. You're taking the bait because your nervous system thinks it's the only way to survive. It thinks, if I don't defend myself right now, I'll be destroyed. That's what your nervous system is thinking. And your nervous system is wonderful and beautiful, but sometimes it doesn't calculate accurately. This is one of those cases. It's believing something that's not true. What is true is you will not be destroyed if you don't defend yourself. What will happen is he said something untrue and you didn't correct it and the sky didn't fall. Or he made a dig and you didn't respond and you didn't cease to exist. Or he provoked you and you didn't engage and nothing bad actually happened. Now your frontal cortex knows what I said is true, but your nervous system doesn't believe this yet. So let me show you what actually happens when you don't take the bait. Let's play this scenario out. He says something designed to hurt you. A lie, a dig, a provocation. Your body registers the threat. Your heart rate goes up. Your anger starts rising. But since you've listened to this video, instead of engaging, what you do is you take a deep breath. You stay quiet. Perhaps leave the room. You didn't defend yourself, you didn't explain, you didn't correct. And what happens next? Well, a couple of possibilities. Scenario A, he doesn't get the engagement he expected. His bait didn't work. He threw it out there expecting you to bite and you didn't. So his nervous system has to figure out, okay, she didn't respond. What do I do now? There's a chance he might escalate. He might make the provocation bigger, louder, sharper, because he's trying to get you to engage. Right? He's trying to get you into his game. But if you still don't engage, something remarkable happens. His nervous system starts to recalibrate. It learns the old tactics don't work on her anymore. And when his old tactics don't work on you, he has fewer tools. Now, he might leave and find somebody else to provoke. He might behave differently because the old behavior didn't work. Or he might stay the same but with less impact because you're not feeding into it. All three of those are wins for you. Here's scenario B. You're not triggering yourself. While he's escalating or frustrating or walking away, you're calm. Not because you don't care, not because you're numb, because numb is not calm. You're calm because you're not feeding your own nervous system with the engagement. You're not rehearsing comebacks. You're not feeling your heart race inside, and you're not getting angrier as you argue. You're not even walking away defeated and ruminating for hours. You're protected. You don't take the bait, and you stay regulated. This is huge because most of your suffering doesn't come from what he does, actually. It comes from what you do in response to what he does. Right? Your suffering comes from engaging in the arguments that never resolve, from defending yourself against accusations that are stupid, from trying to convince him of things that he's not interested in entertaining, from activating your nervous system repeatedly, ruminating on conversations that are hurtful to you. See, all of that is optional, and you can choose differently by not taking the bait. Now, here's what your body experiences when you take this alternate strategy. Let's say it's been a week of you not taking the bait. You haven't engaged when he tried to provoke you. You've stayed quiet. You've protected your peace. Your nervous system is no longer in constant activation. You're sleeping better. Your shoulders are relaxed. You're not on high alert. You feel like you have more energy because energy that was being drained by engaging in endless conflicts is now energy available for you to use. You can think more clearly. You can make recent decisions. You can take care of yourself. You can take care of yourself. You take care of your life. Meanwhile, what's happening with him? He's realizing the old tactics don't work. He's frustrated that he can't pull you in. And again, he might escalate temporarily. But if you hold the boundary of not engaging, he'll eventually move on to a different strategy, or he'll give up. But either way, you're winning because you're no longer playing his game. And the moment you stop playing the game is over. Because the bait only works if you take it. If you don't take the bait, it's just noise. It's just his nervous system misfiring. It's his attempts to regulate himself through provocation, because some people do that. But it's not a threat to you. Not if you don't engage. Now, I know what you're thinking. If I don't respond, won't he think that he can say whatever he wants? Well, maybe he can think that. But here's the question. Is he not already saying whatever he wants? Right? The truth is, he's already treating you however he wants. Responding to him is not what's keeping him in line. What's keeping you in line is setting boundaries through your behavior, not through your words. The boundary you're setting by not engaging is, your provocations don't have power over me. Not that you're saying that to him, but you're acting that. That's actually more powerful than any words you could say. Because words he's going to argue with, right? You know that. But behavior, your consistent, calm, unshakable non-engagement, like he can't argue with that. You might have to hold the boundary for, a period of time. You might have to hold it through an escalation once or twice. You might have to hold it when he tries every trick he knows to pull you back in. But if you hold it, the dynamic will change. Not because he suddenly has a flash of understanding how he's hurt you, don't count on that, but because he realizes he can't control you through provocation anymore. And that's when your actual power emerges. So let me give you some concrete examples. So scenario one, he makes a dig disguised as a joke. I was just joking. For example, you look tired. That color, it's not really the best on you. Nasty. The old way, you react and you defend. I look fine. That's rude. Don't say that. And now you're in a fight. The new way, he makes that comment and you don't respond. You might internally, make a note to yourself, that was a dig. He's trying to make me feel small. And you move on. You don't engage. He gets no reaction. The dig doesn't land because you didn't take the bait. Scenario two, he tells you a lie about something he did. You know he's lying. You have evidence. He's inconsistent. He's incoherent. The old way, you call him out on it. That's not what happened. I know you're lying. And he defends and escalates and turns it around on you, and an ugly fight. The new way, he tells you the lie. You make an internal note. I know that's not true. You don't confront him. You file that information away. Next time he wants you to trust him with something important, you'll remember, he lied about that. I can't rely on his word, you say to yourself. And you protect yourself based on observed patterns, not through confrontation, right? You're making a note to yourself. His word is not trustworthy. No engagement, no bait taken. Here's one more scenario. He criticizes you. You're always so sensitive. You take everything the wrong way. You're no fun. Nobody else has a problem with what I say. The old way, you defend, you explain, you try to show him that that criticism was not fair. And now you're in a conversation about whether you're too sensitive. Now you're debating whether you're too sensitive. The new way, he criticizes, you listen, you don't defend, you don't explain. Internally, you make a note. That's his perspective. I don't agree with it. And I don't need him to agree with my perspective in order for my perspective to be valid. And you move on. No engagement, no bait taken. Notice what's the same in all of these. When he provokes, you stay still. When he lies, you observe rather than confront. When he criticizes, you listen without defending. Your power in all of these is that you don't fight back. Because fighting back is what he wants you to do and has trained you to do. It's what he expects. And it's what he knows how to handle. But staying still and not engaging, you're protecting your peace instead of defending your point. And that's not in his playbook. And so he doesn't know how to respond to that. And that's where you get your freedom. Here's what most women don't realize. Not taking the bait is not passive. It's not weak. It's actually the most powerful thing you can do. Because it removes the one tool he has, which is your engagement. But I get it. This is hard to do alone. Your nervous system has been trained for years to respond to his provocations, to defend, to explain, to fight. Breaking that pattern requires more than just understanding it. It requires support, it requires practice, and it requires help to clear those conditioned and learned responses out of your nervous system, kind of rewiring your nervous system so that you don't have to go to that first instinct. And requires community of women who understand exactly what this feels like because they're subject to the same battle. And it requires somebody who can help you figure it out. Okay, I understand not taking the bait, but what about this situation? What about when he does this? Because there's nuances, right? There's edge cases. There's moments when the bait feels irresistible. And you shouldn't have to figure that out alone. Well, we can help. We've created the Detox Your Marriage community in the school platform. Inside, there's a bunch of videos, a bunch of training on how to manage in this situation. And there's lots of other women that are walking the same walk. Having that community of others, hearing other people's stories, having other people listen to your story, it changes everything. It changes everything. Also, if you feel like you're ready, you can reach out for a free and no strings attached 15-minute kind of clarity call. You'll talk to me or perhaps somebody on my team, but most likely me. And just for a brief conversation, I'll understand your unique situation, and together we'll map out, what change would possibly look like. Because you deserve to get your power back, and you don't need to walk this alone. You can be empowered and equipped to get your power back in this relationship. Because remember, the bait only has power if you take it.